Good afternoon. My name is Paul Kelly, and I'm a professional medical illustrator and surgical videographer in Toronto, Canada. I received my master's from the Biomedical Communications program at the University of Toronto, Mississauga, and I specialize in 3D modeling and animation and video production for teaching surgery. For the past 9 years now, I've been working at the Toronto Video Atlas of Surgery, or TVA Surge. We make educational surgery videos by merging live footage from the OR with 3D animation. Most of our procedures are from general surgery, HPB, and transplant, but we've also begun to expand into OB-GYN and ENT. Today I'd like to present a few things I consider to be game changers for our industry, because they've either helped me considerably during my career or because I think they might become big in the future. The idea for this talk came from when I was in grad school in 2010. I came across this really awesome piece of software, which wasn't widely known or used yet. You may have heard of it, ZBrush. Well, I used it to complete my second year advanced surgical illustration course, and I loved using this software, but I didn't realize its significance at the time. Today, ZBrush is ubiquitous in our industry, and it's one of the main tools in the Medical Illustrator toolkit. So keeping on top of the latest and greatest tools is going to be a never-ending race for us as medical illustrators. AI-powered tools are already here, and we're going to have to embrace them to keep pace. Since I mentioned ZBrush and we're talking about the future of tech, what comes after ZBrush? Well, Otoy, the makers of the GPU renderer Octane, are pushing out an app called Sculptron that seeks to compete with ZBrush. This GPU-powered sculpting app boasts it can handle massive meshes. So who knows, maybe this is what we'll be sculpting with in 5 years. Or perhaps ZBrush will keep pace. One app that has managed to keep pace really well in its market is DaVinci Resolve by Blackmagic, which is also really impressive considering that it's completely free. This is a complete video and audio editing, color grading, and node-based compositing software. I recently taught a crash course on Resolve through the BMCAA, or the Biomedical Communications Alumni Association, so feel free to check that out on their YouTube channel. When it comes to the AI-powered tools in our industry, well, we might get a little nervous about machines taking our jobs, but believe it or not, we've actually probably been using these and not have known it. I'm sure you're all familiar with content-aware fill. Well, Adobe has been using machine learning for years to improve this feature. If you just search for content-aware fill in Google, you're going to find lots of articles about the next generation of where this technology is headed. One example of an AI-powered tool that's pretty interesting is EB Synth, which is an automated rotoscoping tool. So you paint over a single frame of video and then it applies it across the entire frame range. Another is Runway, which is a browser-based video editing tool that has lots of AI-powered features. We as medical illustrators are in a great position to be the experts on how to use these kinds of tools. But before they take over, there's some other impressive tools that are worth checking out right now. And chief among them is the Substance 3D tools from Adobe. Substance allows you to make procedural shaders that don't depend on texture maps. They're repeating patterns that you can apply to your meshes. Shown here is an example made with CellGen, which is a powerful, complete cell generation tool developed by Gary Welch of Mad Microbe Studio using Substance. Gary has made CellGen available for free with an option to donate. He also has a set of video tutorials so you can learn how to get the most out of it. Creating procedural-based shaders for 3D workflows is going to gain a lot of steam as more folks in our industry get into gaming. This could really be the biggest game changer of them all. The two most popular game engines, Unity and Unreal, are now both available for free, so you can jump right in and start learning them. Gaming is the basis for VR, which is where a lot of folks in our industry are already moving into. I recently spoke with Professor Sam Bond at the BViz program in Chicago about gaming. I haven't done a whole lot of this in my area, but Sam is an expert, so if you're interested in learning more, tune into this episode. And one of the techniques I've been spending a lot of time with researching and experimenting is photogrammetry, because this is something where a human can provide the input, photos, but when wielded by a trained medical illustrator, the potential is pretty big. The basic idea behind photogrammetry is to take a series of photos covering as many different vantage points of a subject as possible, and using the parallax between the photos to produce a point cloud and then a polygon mesh. And then after some refinement, these final assets can be used in animation or game engine software. So we've taken photo sets of extracted specimens from several TVA Surge filmings and successfully reconstructed the specimens using 3D Flow Zephyr. Now remember when I mentioned my early experiences with ZBrush and how I didn't appreciate its significance at the time? My work in photogrammetry has helped bring me back to that software because it has so many tools for manipulating and refining 3D models. So once you have a retopologized mesh with clean, optimized UVs, and as long as you don't have any overlapping or distorted polygons, you can then re-import that model that you made in that you refined in ZBrush back into your photogrammetry software and reapply the color map from the same photos, which gives you the highest possible level of resolution in your texture maps. For a long time now, medical illustrators have been exporting CT or MRI scan-based 3D reconstructions, and then cleaning those up to use in medical animation. Photogrammetry has the potential to radically increase the quality of these models by providing assets with highly detailed surfaces and the full color texture maps to match. Now, this is really the name of the game when I say game changer, right? I mean, we're in the game of visualization, so how can we make better visuals? Well, I really couldn't say it better than it's already been said by Emily Holden and Annie Campbell at learnmedical.art. Better visuals come from a strong grasp on art fundamentals. There's a lot of great places to strengthen your art fundamentals online nowadays. For traditional media, I really like the Vitruvian Studio in Chicago. They have some excellent online courses, and Melinda Whitmore, one of the instructors, also teaches at the BViz program in Chicago. For digital training, I gravitate towards Learn Squared, which is a series of educational modules that revolve around production pipelines used in the movie and video game industries. Many of these courses cover several software tools all at once. But if you prefer a good old physical book, well, there's one in particular I have to recommend because for me, it was an absolute game changer in teaching me composition, and that is Framed Ink by Marcos Mathieu Mestre. This is an absolute must-have in my opinion because it's an amazing resource for explaining how to compose your shots with intent, how to use negative space and major forms to not only create images that are pleasing to the eye, but more importantly, how to use framing and composition to drive a story. And while we're on the topic of books, this segues nicely into upgrading our business game. When we enter the field, it's all about combining art and science, but when we get our careers going, we realize we need to integrate business knowledge as well. There's a lot of great resources out there for time management and business, social media, books, podcasts, and YouTube. These are a few of my personal recommendations, and I will provide links to all of these. I have to call attention to one resource in particular that has been probably the biggest game changer for me in my business skills, and that is this fellow by the name of Chris Do. Just search his name on any social media platform and you will find him. He's got a ton of great videos on YouTube to help you understand business fundamentals for the creative industries. He's the head of a design agency called Blind, and he also heads The Future, which is a business training platform for creative professionals. So in addition to all the free content they put out there, they also have professional training courses you can take on a variety of specific topics. Now, one of the things I've come to appreciate a lot more in my career is the importance of the team, of collaborating with others. In a recent podcast I did with Michael Hickman from Barrow Neurological Institute, we talk about some of the influence of AI tools in our field, but we also talk about new ways in which teams will collaborate in the future. And Michael mentions the new 3D file format USD, which stands for Universal Scene Description. This allows multiple artists to work on the same file simultaneously. So as tools and production pipelines improve, the ability to better collaborate will inevitably be upgraded as well. There are real-time collaboration tools that you can try out right now, such as this browser-based Magma Studio app, which allows multiple artists to work on a blank canvas simultaneously. This is another real-time visual collaboration tool, Miro, which was presented in the same BMC classes series I demonstrated DaVinci Resolve at by Marina Spiritus of Click Studio. And what's cool about these tools is you don't necessarily have to be an artist to make use of them. A whole team can collaborate together on a virtual post-it note board and formulate ideas together. Now at TVA Surge, we use a collaborative tool for gathering feedback on video. The appropriately named Kollaborate has definitely been one of the biggest game changers for us, because tracking revisions is extremely important when working within teams and with medical content experts. Kollaborate is a video review system. It's an online video hosting service that allows you to share works in progress videos with colleagues, collaborators, and clients. Now, we work with surgeons, and they are often really tight for time. We also have a rigorous production schedule to keep up with. So it's important to make sure that we have an organized system for logging and tracking feedback on the videos in development. Kollaborate is a great way to gather feedback because you can send out password-protected links and then comment and annotate videos together. You export the comments and track draft revisions. Now, to be fair, there are several options out there for online video review systems. If you're interested in checking out what else there is, Motion Array has a blog post I'll share a link for. Also, the Vimeo platform has a review system built in, which is similar to what Kollaborate offers. But one of the reasons we went with Kollaborate is because of their server version. Kollaborate Server is a version of the cloud app that allows you to run it locally on your own server and storage. So you're not reliant on internet access, you get control over the file management and storage space. And for us, this really made a big difference because this way we could share raw footage of hours-long surgeries if need be. I mean, those files can get huge. We also had some concerns in regards to hospital red tape when it comes to hosting unedited video content online. That may not have been fully screened yet. This way, we keep it all local. Being able to comment on the videos in real time is key. With Kollaborate, you can create custom logins for your collaborators or let anyone just enter their name and start typing. You enter comments in the comment box on the right-hand side, and it will automatically stop the video player, timestamp the comment to the video. You can also use the pen tool to draw right on the video, which is great for making annotations about shot composition or pointing out specific areas in a frame that you need editing. Comments from multiple reviewers can be color-coded, and then once review is complete, you can export these comments as a text doc. Now, we use Dropbox quite a bit, but Kollaborate can also be used to share not only videos, but I mean, really any file you want, and anything can be uploaded and commented on. So this is great because, for example, we often upload still frames of images such as this one for laparoscopic port placement. Even when you follow written instructions to the letter, when the surgeon sees it, they're just always going to have to nudge those little port locations just a few millimeters over here, that way. And they're very precise about these port placements. So this feature allows us to just show the still image to the surgeon, just let them draw right on it, and then we know exactly where it needs to be. And this feature alone has totally made Kollaborate worth it for us. Outside of Kollaborate, the other digital app that we use that's also been an absolute game changer is Notion. Notion is a time and project management tool that helps us keep track of all our different projects. Notion is pretty awesome in that it shares many of the same features of other tools all in one platform. And, fair enough that there are some flaws to it, but using this tool in combination with some other team apps like Slack has proven to be really effective for us. We use it to plan out videos, blogs, and other content. And within each project, we also use tables to keep track of models and scene files and shot lists. It's incredible. And they've also added Gantt timelines in their newest update. So having all this functionality available has had a significant impact on our effectiveness as a team. Now, I've spoken quite a bit about digital tools, but let's take a pause and talk about something more physical. There's something I have to mention because it really ranks up there with game changers for me, and that is my bullet journal. Part of bullet journaling I love the most is making my own custom calendars. I make multi-week calendars that span 2 or more months so I can see 8 or 10 weeks all at once, and this allows me to really think ahead and plan out project milestones. I'm going to provide a link to the bullet journaling site so you can learn more about the systems that they suggest for getting the most out of these journals. I've also used them to tally up my hours for the day and evaluate how different tasks are coming along on projects. It's not always this hardcore, but by tracking day by day, I can see where I stand on different projects and have a better idea of where to focus my energy. So we've covered lots of software, techniques, and some books, but I want to end this talk with what has been for me the biggest game changer of all, and it's really just a practice. Many of you, I'm sure, know the digital artist Beeple, who recently made headlines when he sold NFTs of his everydays. The idea of committing to putting out work every single day is a goal I think we all share, but we just don't always commit to. So I actually attempted Inktober in 2019, but I was too embarrassed to show my images. But the following year, I decided to push through and make it happen. And this was my first earnest attempt at really doing everydays. And I quickly appreciated the value of the practice. So starting in January 2021, I've maintained a daily posting streak. Posting daily has led me to explore some areas of my art game that I know I needed to work on. For example, facial features. But I also try to keep up with life drawing and go back to those art fundamentals. Now, I'll be honest, I've definitely hit some fatigue points. During a conversation with Bill Westwood, we started chatting about the daily thing, and he suggested I switch to progress pics of a longer term project. So that way, in the end, I end up with a higher quality piece. And so I took him up on that. I pulled out a few sketches I had done for my CMI, our Certified Medical Illustrator certification, and I began to work them up in Photoshop and colorize them. And in the process of doing this, I realized I really needed to work on my hands. So I found a great site with reference photos for hands and other focus areas called Line of Action. Now, there's a lot of sites like this, but I like how this site is set up. It just works well for me. It's become a reliable place for me to go and get some work done that I know will be post-worthy. So interspersed with my surgical illustration series, I posted lots of hand poses and some other kind of random stuff. There's just so many things I want to try and explore, and the daily art habit has helped me to do that. I have sprints of focus where I'm just working on one thing, but then I can still switch it up and once in a while just do some random, sketches I just feel like doing. And exploring topics is really good. I mean, I appreciate the importance of focus and following through on a goal, but I also think that exploring new things is how you make new discoveries. So for me, the everyday art habit has allowed me to both constantly hone my craft and explore new tools and new topics. So it's definitely been a game changer. And now I'd like to hear from you. What are some of your big game changers that you've encountered in your career? Feel free to hit me up on social media. I'm the most active on Instagram, Twitter, and LinkedIn, and I'd love to hear from you. So thanks so much to the Institute of Medical Illustrators for inviting me to speak this year, and thanks to all of you for listening.